Yeah, okay, I think we can start now. Dear colleagues and friends attending this 10th International Shadow Lakes Conference, we have come to the end of our meeting, and I hope you have enjoyed the meeting as much as I did. We have organized this conference to you with lots of love, and I would like to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart for your presence, for the excellent work presented and discussions carried out throughout this week. Special thanks goes to the coordinators of thematic sections for having proposed and organizing the sections, to the plenary speakers for giving us excellent and very stimulating lectures, to the scientific committee that have assisted us on important decisions, and to all of you participants for believing in this meeting and making your registration. Our selection of plenary speakers for this conference were based on 3 criteria. First, outstanding work related to the central theme of this meeting, which was landscape ecology of shallow lakes. Second, a gender balance. We wanted to have as many female and male speakers in our conference. And third, a generation balance. We also want to have the same amount, about the same amount of more experienced scientists sharing the stage with younger scientists in the beginning of their careers. We all know that the scientific quality of a Congress depends on the scientific quality of the lectures and oral presentations in the thematic sessions. Therefore, the scientific programming of this Congress was excellent thanks to you guys. I know that we would all like our meeting to be in person, and we obviously missed the best part of any conference, which is the social activities. Unfortunately, we were unable to meet in person this time, but we have to recognize that there are some advantages to virtual meetings like the one we had this week. First of all, I would like to highlight the reduction in the participation and organization costs of the Congress that made it possible to reduce the registration fee and, consequently, the participation of more researchers, especially students who would otherwise find it very difficult to participate. Second, this new format made it possible to make better use of oral presentations in the thematic sessions. With this format, more people could watch the presentations as many times as they want and at any time. And the videos will still be available to watch them later, as long as the authors keep them available on YouTube. Moreover, all lectures in oral sections were automatically recorded in Zoom, and we will organize and make the links available to you from the files in the cloud as soon as possible. And third, the carbon footprint of the Congress was as little as possible, and we cannot fail to recognize that in a scenario of climate change and changes in economic incentives against carbon emissions, this new form of virtual meeting may well come to become much more common and necessary than we can imagine or want at the moment. I would also like to thank the members of the local organizing committee immensely for sharing with me the dream of holding this event and making this dream come true, even if in a different way than we originally planned it. Before the pandemic, we had planned a lot of parties for the Congress in a cultural and social program that you were going to love. But unfortunately, that was not possible this time. For me, organizing a Congress is like organizing a big party. We are so happy to see our guests enjoying the party. There were many challenges, of course, that we need to overcome in recent years here in Brazil. And I can safely say to you that organizing this conference was the least of our challenges. It has been very difficult to keep our hope alive in the development of our country, in the conservation of our nature, and in the well-being of our people. With such a setback that we are having, we are facing right now for some years in Brazil, we would need to stay strong, but we need to stay strong, producing the best science possible with the working conditions we have, and training the new generations of young scientists and professionals in the field of ecology and limnology that will soon replace us. The battles are many, but as Ernest Hemingway once said, the writer Ernest Hemingway once said, "Whoever will be in the battlefield beside you matter more than the battle itself." I fully agree with him. I think the people we work with matters much more than the science or any other things we produce with them. I would like to open my heart to you guys and say that I am very happy and that I feel very honored to work with these wonderful and extremely competent people who make up the organizing committee of this Congress. Could you please, guys, open your camera now to take a souvenir photo of this moment before we proceed with the closing ceremony? Let's try to get a picture from you. Are everybody from the organizing committee are here, or is there somebody missing? So there are some people who are shy to show up. But there are more people in the organizing committee.
Where's Rosenberg?
Yeah, good question. Where is Rosenberg? Well, we can try to take another picture later. Each one of you, my dear friends, were very important for us to be able to organize this successful conference together with such a joy, good humor, and friendship. I believe that there is nothing more important in our lives than the bonds of love and friendship that we have built with people around us. And be sure that our bonds of friendship have become even stronger during the organization of this Congress. I'm very lucky to have you as colleagues and friends here in Natal. Thank you very much to all of you for accepting the challenge of organizing this Congress with me. Now I would like to give some important announcements about our Congress. After we have paid all the expenses with the companies we have to hire to make the homepage, the logo, the registration and abstract submission system, the book of abstracts, the certificates, the computer technician who is assisting us with the Moodle and the Zoom. Tiago, are you here? If you are, please show your camera. Congratulations, Tiago. Everything was just great. You did a fantastic job assisting us with all this high-tech thing. The artists who recorded the videos of our cultural programs and other extra expenses we had. But there was a little bit of money left that we would like to use to give an award to the best presentation of participants registered as a student in the Congress. We asked section coordinators to indicate one student presentation per section or per session day in the case of larger sections, if they felt there was some student work in their section that deserved to apply for this award. The value of the prize that we can give to the author of the best student presentation is 3,000 reais, about $530 or 440 euros today. We hope this value can help in some way the students to buy books of his or her choice, make a registration in a future Congress, perhaps the SIL Congress next year in Berlin, or anything else that the student wants for his or her studies at the moment. We know that this amount is not much, especially with the Brazilian real so devalued in relation to other currencies. But it is what we can give to honor the student in recognition of the excellence of his or her work. I will present you here the list of the pre-selected works that will be competing for this award. We will still need, we need to form a committee with neutral members of the scientific and organizing committee to judge the best presentation among the pre-selected works. And we will notify everyone through the social media of the Congress and also by email as soon as we get a final results. Let me share again my screen to show you the list of the pre-selected presentations. Chan, 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 chan. Can you see my screen here?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the resolution's not, oh, now it's good.
Well, okay, in the first column here are the sessions, the second, the name of the students, then the country, the contact email, and then the title. In the section 1, the presentation by Esteban Ortiz from Uruguay was the chosen one. In section 2, Juan Leroux, section from France. Section 3, you can read the title of their presentations here if you want. Section 3, Vanja Milovanovic. Section 4, there was no indication. It was not mandatory, the indications, all right? Section 5, Monkey Chang from China. Vanja is from Serbia. Section 6, Alice Dalla Vecchia from Italy. I don't know if I pronounce it correctly. My Italian is very bad. Section 7, there was 3 indications because there was 3 days of this section. Thomas Nijman from the Netherlands, Giovanni Arnhold Moresco from Brazil, and Juan Pablo Pacheco from Denmark. Section 8, there was 2 indications, one for each day of the session. Rayane Vanderlei from Brazil and Lucia Cabrera Lamana from Uruguay. Section 9, Jose Antonio Hernandez from Mexico. Section 10, Lucia Vera from Spain. Another indication from section 10, which was also a big one, Gültekin Yılmaz from Turkey. I don't know if I pronounce it correctly. Section 11, Mateus Henrique Tavares from Brazil. Section 12, Melissa Metin from Turkey. Section 13, Marcin Zebrowisk from Poland. Section 14, there was no indication. Section 15, Maria Beatrice Castellani from Italy. Section 16, there was no indication. 17, Tamires Brasil Martins from Brazil. Section 18, Jose Luis, the same name as I had. Jose Luis Viveros Legorreta from Mexico. Section 19, there was 2 indications because there was 2 days of the section. Nora Ferler from Germany and Jessica Papera from Brazil. Well, it was a very hard decision. I mean, I got many complaints from the session coordinators saying that, do you really need to do this? It's hard because there are many good presentations from students, but they helped us and they made their own choice. And based on these pre-selected presentations, we will form, as I said, a committee, an independent committee to judge and we will announce the winner as soon as possible, right? Back to the screen now. I would like to remind everyone who wants to fix errors in the Book of Abstracts or insert the link to the video of their presentation, if it is not already inserted, to fill out the Google form that we will send by email to everyone, and that we shared here through the chat during the webinars. We can put it again in the chat during this ceremony. The videos will remain available for access in our Moodle system until the end of this month. So you can have more time to watch everything you want, but did not have the time last week or this week to do so. A good idea was also suggested by Lawrence Carvalho that authors who want to share his or her video link in our Twitter, please do that, but use the hashtag, what's the hashtag, Rosenberg? Hashtag Shallow Lakes.
Shallow Lakes 21. I will write it down here.
Yeah, write down in the chat, please. And then you can just share your video with your presentation there at Twitter as well. It's a good idea, Lawrence. Because I don't have Twitter, so I don't know how these things work. Certificates will be issued later this month, but just after our corrections in the Book of Abstracts. We will send the certificates to the participants' emails as soon as they are ready. I ask a little bit of patience from you because we didn't manage to do it before the conference. And it was good because there was some mistakes, so we need to correct the mistakes. Finally, I would like to remind everyone who is interested in submitting their manuscript to the special volume of the journal Hydrobiologia to select the special volume submission options on the journal website, and then choose the special volume for this Shallow Lakes conference before submitting the manuscript, okay? I will send you by email more detailed information about the submission process very soon. But remember that the initial deadline for submission of this manuscript is the end of this month. I've got many requests asking if we could postpone a little bit this deadline, and yes, of course we can postpone a little bit, and we are planning maybe if you need to a couple of weeks more, please contact me to let me know of your intention to submit the manuscript to this special volume, and we can find out a better deadline for you. But the deadlines cannot be more than the end of April because we have commitments with the journal, okay? But let's try to keep the end of March as the deadline. And those who has already the manuscript ready can just submit, and then we already can send it for review. Now I would like to invite our Estonian colleagues, Helen Agasild, Fritz Zingel, and Tina Norges. Sorry if I cannot pronounce your name correctly, to announce the next Shallow Lake conference.
Hello, everybody. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can.
First, I want to congratulate Koka and his team for so successful conference. I never thought that it will be so smooth and easy to follow, and so many people can just meet almost like in real life. So I really am happy and congratulate you, and hope you can have a glass or bottle of wine in the evening. We will do it. We will celebrate this conference success story. And we have the great honor to host the next Shallow Lake conference in Estonia. We are very happy for that, and I would like now to give the screen to my younger colleague, Helen Agasild, who will be the key person in our local organizing committee, and ask her to introduce Estonia and the perspectives of the conference. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tiina. First of all, I want to thank all organizers and participants. This has been really amazing conference. And this is great honor to introduce you to the site of the next conference. Let me share the screen. Can you see?
Yes.
So the next 11th International Shallow Lake Conference will be held in Europe, in Tartu, in Estonia, in year 2023. And I very much hope that in this next conference, we can meet again in person and do all the social events what we have missed this time. And I will give you a short introduction to Estonia, to the city of the conference, and to the hosting university. Estonia. We are among the smallest countries in Europe. We are a Nordic country. Our population is only 1.3 million. And our official language is Estonian. Also, English is also widely spoken. And despite a small country, we are very rich of natural resources. We have long coastal lines with many islands. We have a lot of forest, a lot of wildlife, and Estonia is, of course, rich of water resources. We have more than 1,500 natural lakes, and these are mostly shallow ones. And the city of the conference will be Tartu. Tartu is our second largest city. This is a vibrant city, but it is also green and friendly, full of history and culture. And it is also a center of education in Estonia, as it has two largest universities. And the city likes to call itself as a city of students and a city full of good thoughts. And I will show you a little glimpse about Tartu.
Helen, is there supposed to be sound?
Sorry?
Is there supposed to be sound?
Yes, it should have sound.
I think you have
Helen,
to select share sound.
Yeah, if
you cannot hear it.
No, because you have to select the share audio. But
sorry,
in case you don't manage, we can watch the
I don't.
images.
So when you click the share screen, it should give you an option on the bottom left to share audio.
Sorry, I can't understand.
No problem. Can I make a suggestion? Is it a link, this video, or is the video is downloaded in your computer? Is there a link to this video? You can maybe copy here in the chat. And
Do you want me to show the link one more? I will stop sharing.
Yeah, you can stop sharing. Send me the link.
I can show it from here. You can.
If you write down the link in the chat, I can.
Is it better?
No.
This screen sharing videos are tricky because we have to choose an option of sharing audio. I don't know in the program you're using how we do this.
So I made the same mistake when I was presenting Kendra, but when you share the screen, you should see an option to share the audio in the window.
Share
It's
the
like
audio.
a little box to click.
When I opened my presentation.
Yeah, when you share the screen. So when you click on share screen, it should give you this option.
Share sound.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Thank you very much. Can you see it now?
We see your presentation.
It is small now, but yeah.
Now it's fine. Now it's fine.
I just go on. Thank you. And the hosting university is Estonian University of Life Sciences, which is also situated in Tartu. And in the share of hydrology, hydrobiology and fishery, it covers the fundamental research of Estonian water bodies and also applied research as state environmental monitoring, fish management, environmental impact assessment, lake restoration, and nature protection. And now I also try again show you one video. Oops, this works this time. Just an overview of our university. Our university holds Center for Limnology, which is situated on the shore of beautiful large Lake Võrtsjärv, which you have probably heard a lot during this conference. And this center is a center for continuous shallow lake research by now more than 50 years. We are very friendly group of shallow lakers, and we are warmly welcoming you to the next Shallow Lake Conference in Estonia. See you in Tartu in 2023. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Helen. I hope we can manage to go to Estonia in 2023 if the economic situation of Brazil allows, but we would love to. Now, I would like to invite our colleague Maria Boveri from Buenos Aires, Argentina, just to announce her intention to organize the Shallow Lakes meeting in 2026, together with her great research team in Buenos Aires. I also want to invite others to submit proposals to host this meeting in 2026, but by the end of this year. The decision will be taken by the scientific community of this meeting in Brazil before the next meeting in Estonia, right? Maria, the word is yours.
Thank you very much, my friend. I have a couple of words here. Shallow Lakes 2021 was a great congress. you contagious us, your power, your positive energy, and so the Congress meeting succeeded. It will be an enormous challenge to think in a Congress here in Buenos Aires. But I must follow you in that it is a dream to welcome my colleagues to my home, my city, and my country. So I will share the job with some colleagues to make it easy. And I will work hardly, and I will wait you, maybe, I hope so, in Buenos Aires in 2026. It is very hard to think in the day of tomorrow in Argentina, and because of high instability and our hard times here in South America. But I think that it will be a dream to have you here.
Thank you very much, Maria. You know how much I love to dance tango, and I would love to go to Buenos Aires. But let's see if the other people want also to host the meeting after Estonia, and then we make a decision. But thank you very much for offering us this option.
Thank you for your encouragement.
Now I would like to invite our colleague Sarma from Mexico to say some words in tribute of two distinguished limnologists, Dr. Ramesh Gulati and Brish Gopal, who recently left us. Sarma, the word is yours.
Thank you. It's a customary at the end of each meeting to pay homage to those who passed away but left enormous wealth of information and data for us to continue our research. Before I mention some biographical sketches of two of the three well-known people who passed away, I would like to share with you my point of view that we all have collectively defeated COVID-19, because in spite of the COVID problem, we are able to attend and make this meeting great success with the help of Jose Ataide and his host of colleagues. I would like to share a few biographical sketches of late Ramesh Gulati and late Brish Gopal. I'm sharing the screen. Can you see the screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. It's a tribute to late Ramesh Gulati and later on late Brish Gopal, whom both Nandini and I knew for the last 30 years or so. Well, Professor Dr. Gulati was born on 28th of September 1935 in a small town, Piplan. At that time, the then United India, later on got partitioned. Then, due to problem of partition, he migrated to the present India, and his career, he started since 1947. That is the time that India and Pakistan got separated, and until 1959, his schooling and college studies were all done at Delhi. And 1959 to 1968, worked as lecturer in the University of Delhi. At the same time, was also doing his doctoral degree. In 1968, he moved to the Netherlands and remained there until he passed away on 23rd December 2019 in a town called Hilversum. He was survived by his wife, Toshi. You will see at the bottom, Toshi, his wife, and 2 children and 4 grandchildren. Dr. Gulati published more than 200 research articles and reviews. Google metrics indicates that he has got citations of close to 8,000 and with a H-index of 46. During his career of 50 years, Gulati edited many special volumes for many journals, including aquatic ecology, hydrobiology, ecology of meromictic lakes, inland waters, freshwater biology, among others. You will see beautiful photos of Gulati with colleagues like Moshe Gofen at the tall meeting in Jaipur in India. Dr. Gulati also held many important editorial positions. He was editor-in-chief for many years for the prestigious journal Aquatic Ecology. He was editor-in-chief of also News from 2006 to 2019, and also editorial board member of Hydrobiologia for many years. With his close friend, Henry Dumont, he had always good and cordial relations and discussions on scientific matters. Dr. Gulati received many awards. Of those most important, in addition to the SEAL award, he received in Hungary SEAL meeting. He also got Weinberg Medal for Limnology in 2009 and an honorary PhD and professorship position in limnology again by the Siberian Academy of Sciences. His areas of research, in addition to basic limnology and plankton ecology, more specialized in the zooplankton, nutrient dynamics and psychometry, grazing, assimilation and excretion rates of zooplankton, biomanipulation, lake management, and restoration of lakes. He was a good friend, mentor, and academic colleague to many world limnologists, including senior scientists and some plenary speakers of this meeting. You'll see them in the early career. Some of them got a lot of interaction with late Gulati. He was also a regular participant for many international meetings, especially the SEAL, the Rotifer meetings, the Cladocera conferences. He was very strongly associated with our Shallow Lakes meeting. As an evidence of that, 2 of the 10 proceedings of the Shallow Lakes meetings were edited by him. Here is an example that during the preface of the last Shallow Lakes meeting, we mentioned this part that in 2005, the meeting and 2011 meeting, the proceedings were edited by him, co-edited by him. There were also special issues dedicated exclusively to him. In the year 2003, Parma mentioned a lot about him on his retirement in the year 2000. And we also have edited a special volume dedicated to him on the theme of limnoecology in Latin America in the prestigious journal Limnologica. Gulati shared a lot of his knowledge generously without asking for any remuneration, and he participated in a number of workshops, courses in different countries. He maintained his curiosity and enthusiasm throughout his life. This is the last photograph that we have taken with him just 11 days before he passed away. We were at his house, and you see below we were discussing with him, and I was noting some of the aspects related to the biomanipulation, that he still had good memory until the last day. And at the top you see the letter of good wishes from signed by all people from our laboratory. I would like to make another point that the Shallow Lakers miss him, but definitely they do not miss his contribution to the field of shallow lakes. So I move on to the second one. Professor late Brij Gopal, again both Dr. Nandini and myself knew him for at least 30 years. He was an organizer of many national, regional, and international conferences on various water bodies, the various themes of limnology. We attended many of them during our early career. Professor Brij Gopal was born in a city called Muzaffarnagar on March 7, 1944, and passed away due to heart attack on 4th of January 2021, just recently. Throughout his career, he dedicated his research within India. In 1961, he finished his bachelor's degree from prestigious Meerut College, again the northern part of India. In 1964, finished master's degree in botanical sciences. In 1968, a doctoral degree from Banaras Hindu University. For 1 year, he worked as a lecturer for less than a year or so in Agra College, later moved as an assistant professor in the Rajasthan University in Jaipur, again in India. And from 1986 to the 2009 until he retired, he became assistant professor and finally professor at the Jawaharlal Nehru University. He supervised 17 PhD students, 12 MPhil students, and he was mentor to many postdoctoral researchers. Brij Gopal's significant contributions are in the field of aquatic ecology. I do not have to tell you, they are all well known, and over 250 research publications and 45 books he edited or authored, and there are about 70 other related articles. During his research period of 40 years, his main themes were wetland classification and inventory, ecology, catchment, and hydrological interactions, in addition to the management. He was one of the lead authors of 2007 Nobel Prize winning IPCC 4th assessment report. The report chapter 4 is given here. It has been cited at least 900 times so far and is still being cited. Professor Brij Gopal is well known for his contribution to the area of water hyacinth. In 1981, he made a beginning of one book that received tremendous enthusiasm among the scientists because of the low visibility. He improved the book, and in 1987 he published another one with a lot of more information, and it is also well cited, very popular among the limnologists. Basically, he was a botanist. His first article that I could trace was from 1967 in the American Friend Journal, and as late as year 2000, we had an obituary about Professor Gulati in hydrobiologia, and this is not the last publication of Brij Gopal. We are bringing a special volume in honor of Dr. Gulati, and he was associated as guest editor, and an editorial will appear for which he will be the co-author. In 1974, Indian Academy of Sciences, he is the first recipient of this award as young scientist. And in the year 1982 to 1983, he spent several times, he visited Max Planck Institute at Plön. In 1997, he also received the International Award by the Wetland Society. And in 2004, of course, he received the prestigious SEAL Award. He was also associated with many journals. Was editor-in-chief of the International Journal for Ecology and Environmental Sciences. He was on the editorial board of, till today, Hydrobiologia. Still they haven't changed it. They are going to soon update it. In Hydrobiologia, Wetlands Ecology and Management, River Research and Applications, Journal of Inland Fisheries Society of India. He was also associated for 3 years marine and freshwater research. Brij Gopal has served the Indian government also in addition to teaching in the university, especially for the environmental protection. He conceptualized the idea of the river regulation zone in terms of very similar to the coastal regulation zone to protect the rivers from various anthropogenic activities. When he passed away, there were a lot of media coverage, both in India and abroad. This is an example, Society for Wetlands, and also Wetlands International, in addition to many local newspapers covered. The future research workers on wetlands and the shallow lakes will be always benefited from his contribution to the field of limnology. Thank you all.
Thank you, Sama, for your tribute to Dr. Gulati and Dr. Gopal. I would like to invite, let me wait.
I'm just separating out.
Yeah. Okay. And last but not least, I would like to invite our dear and beloved Eric to say some words in tribute to Dr. Carl Havens, who was in our last meeting in Merida, but also left us recently. Eric, if you also want to say some final words about our meeting here in Natal before we close this ceremony, please be my guest. The word is all yours, my wise and oldie friend.
Yes, thank you. And I would like to say some few words at the end also. But first I'll give a short tribute to Carl Havens. Can you see it? Is it full screen now?
Yes, we can.
Carl Havens, he died in 2019 at an age of 61 years. And he gave us co-cassette, the plenary at the last conference, together with his little friend. You can see he was a tall guy, Carl, on the effect of climate variability on cyanobacteria blooms in shallow lakes. And he showed at this conference also that it's very much depending on the depth of the lake and also the flushing rate, showing very nice data from many lakes over long time series. And later, we were together because we were a group of people working on Danish lakes and Florida lakes, comparing them. And we took a picture because you never know, as we said. But we didn't expect that the youngest one of all of us was the first to leave, because 10 days later, after this picture, he died of a heart attack and lung problems. Carl Havens, he used most of his time in Florida. First in the South Florida Water Management District, later at the University of Florida, first at the Fishery and Aquatic Science Institute, and then he became the director of the Florida Sea Grant College program. Carl's main interest was the dynamic of phytoplankton and zooplankton in shallow lakes, and he has a lot of good contribution there in the literature, and you can just check up. He has this very nice work. And there is some obituaries that have been described this in more detail, so I'll not go into detail. But he was also not only a basic scientist, he did a lot of applied work, especially in the South Florida water management for all these waters in Florida. And he was very well known all over Florida for his comments, sometimes very sharp comments, but always based on facts. Nowadays is not the typical thing in America, but it was at that time. And he was working also with oyster farming effects in coastal area, oil spills effect. And he was sitting in numerous commissions, partly because he was in the lead of this Florida Sea Grant, but also because of his interest and because of his knowledge. So he used a lot of time, and I was always impressed about how many balls he could keep running at the same time. He was impressive in writing. He could sit an evening just writing paper, more or less finished it. Carl can be characterized with a few lines here. He was engaged, highly productive, highly collaborative, open-minded, stimulating, and well-liked by both scientists and managers. Not many people can get such a positive review, but he could and can. And he used a lot of time on scientists and students. And he was always enthusiastic and ready to discuss, and most often with insightful comments, not always, but most often with insightful comments. As a leader, he was very outstanding. And what I write here is coming from his institute. He was kind and inclusive. He valued team approach and created an atmosphere where coming to work was fun. This is also a very nice characteristic for this guy. He was a very, very funny guy. And at the same time, he also valued everyone working together with him. So both because of this and also because he was a modest person, then he managed to communicate with everyone, from stakeholder to fishermen to oyster producers, even though he was after them, and students and fellow scientists. He was quite an amazing person. Besides science, he was also very interested in photography, and he always used these old-fashioned gears that were the best one. He was a painter also. He'll be sadly missed among us, no doubt. But just go to his papers. There are many good papers. Now to something more positive. I was asked by Koka to say a few words about the conference. And I was asked because I was the organizer together with the man there in the corner, Martin Søndergaard, of the first Shallow Lakes Conference in the Viking Age, as you can see, back in 1992, and he's sitting there, Martin, together with Koka, actually here in Natal area. And at that time, we were eating pork and were drinking mjød, pork with the bare hands and drinking mjød. And you can see there were a lot of fun there. And you can see the Nestor of Shallow Lakes, Brian Moss, the wizard. He is there, unfortunately not with us anymore. And to the right, you can see his student, Lawrence. And he looks exactly like that today also, 30 years later, and he behaved like that also. He was a very naughty guy at that time, and he still is. I was also asked at that time to introduce, when we were in Mexico, to introduce the next Shallow Lakes Conference. And I put this picture from Mexico, we took in Mexico. And I thought that then the resting stages in Shallow Lakes would be the theme of the next conference. But it turned out to be very different with landscapes, ecology, and meta communities. And it was, I have to say, first of all, this was fantastic. I'll come back to that. But at that time, when he was laying down there, we were thinking about this next conference, and we were dreaming because we knew Natal. We were dreaming of the beaches. We were dreaming of these sand dunes, which we cannot pass over because it's protected, but you could look at it. We were dreaming of the houses with different colors, and we were dreaming about the food and the salsa dancing and the drinking and so on. But unfortunately, we turned out to meet this man here instead. Very serious looking every morning in some places, at midday in other places, and in the evening in the third places here. But he was there, very serious guy. Sometimes he was smiling, but not so often. He was very serious at this meeting here. And I'm sure he could be the next president. The way he behaved during this week, he could be the next president in Brazil, and you actually need it. So, and there could not be a better one than when Koka. But you should also know that this guy can be very, very different. And this is from a few years earlier when he had a little bit more hair also. And you can see there with his soft hands dancing together also with, you can say to the left, you can see the keynote speakers from today. And below you can see Christina, which also is at the meeting here today. And maybe some of the others, I'm not sure if others are here, but at least these three are there. So you can see it can be a very different one. And a party guy, and we are missed at this time. But next time in Estonia, you have to dance like this again, Koka. And I have to say that it was good you didn't take resting eggs as the theme of the meeting, because it was some amazingly plenary talks with linked the theme of the meeting together in a very nice way. I think we can say very clearly, I've been at all Shallow Lakes meetings, so I can say this was the best set of plenary talks ever. It's not a Samarans thinking where he said with Olympic Games, it's always the best Olympic Games ever. But here it's true story. It was really, really good. I think and we learned a lot of this. And we also learned that we should think more holistic than many of us do. There was also a very good ECR workshop arranged by Priscilla, Ali, Sarah, and Matthew. And you can see some of the students are participating there in this session. It was a very good addition to the conference, and I think the students have enjoyed that also. And besides that, there are all these special sessions. And I've never seen so many videos before in my lifetime. And many of them were high quality. And I can see that SA and CA rocks, Central America and South America are rocking now. It's going very well, despite that your economic situation is not good. And I remember that I, some years ago, was asked by Roger Mormul to write a little bit of story about my impression about the Brazilian limnology. And it was after we had discussed it a lot. And I wrote this, Brazilian limnologists tear down this wall. And this was because when I went to the conference also in Natal in 2011 and asked people that were working with phytoplankton, they showed nice CCAs with Newton related to Newton and everything. So, and then I asked them, what about the zooplankton? We are not working with zooplankton. And then there was other zooplankton saying, what about the fish? No, we are not working with fish. And this was a traditional way of working back in time in Brazil, I think, and also in many other places of the world. You were very traditional. And then I went to Maringa, and then they had all disciplines. One were working with ciliates, with flagellates, or with zooplankton, but they are in different rooms, not working together. And that's what I say, keep the door, because you need to have your knowledge and then remove the walls. And send your papers to international journal to a much more extent, because we are not seeing them and it's not very good. And you also have to be challenged by other communities. And I have to say, this is not because of this paper at all, because it was evolving at the same time. It has changed a lot. And I also think that the meeting here stimulated a lot to this more holistic thinking, that you cross you can say the disciplines, and you cross also make it multidisciplinary and other. So I think there's been a lot of changes there, and I can see that the SA rocks, and I can take one example, and that is Miriam Begliocchio and I, we have just hired 2 postdocs from Brazil, 1 postdoc and 1 PhD from Uruguay, and 1 postdoc from Argentina, and there are other people coming also, Mexican students come with us. This is just one example. So there are opportunities. I know it's a very bad time in Brazil and Argentina and other places, but then go abroad and learn and come back to your country when it's better, and when Coca is president of Brazil, and then it will be a very, very different situation you'll have when you get rid of the other one. But I think there's been a big change in also because I can see a paper almost every week from Brazil coming out in different journals. It goes very fast now. And then we, of course, also when we are in Brazil, there are also cultural element, and the samba music here has been a very good cultural addition to the conference here. So altogether, it has been a fantastic conference. I think I was very skeptical about these ones, and I'm bored by Zoom meetings and these kinds of things. But I think you did it in a fantastic good way. And I'm sure that everyone say that. You can see it from many of the mails coming out or the chats coming in, that you have done a fantastic job. Yes, no, it has been very, very difficult because it is a very new form, and there has been much more work than if it was an actual conference and you could send them to the beach or to the bars from time to time and then relax. But now you could not relax. You had to work all time and I get mails very late in the evening from Coca and other places arranging for the next day and so on. And I think it has been fantastic. And the next is, of course, the proceeding that you heard about. You have to finish your papers. And with this, I declare the 2021 Shallow Lakes for closed. But we look forward to the next one in 2023 with the Norges and Helen and Britt. and the big team there. That is a very nice team. I know them very well, and they are doing a fantastic job. And they have we have Tina and Peter, both of them there, and it's a very, very good group. And I can guarantee you get a very nice stay there. So join the meeting in 2023, and then we can finally meet each other again. And I hope to still to be there and not in Valhalla at that time, but let's see. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Eric, for your words and your warm words. I would like to thank everybody for joining us in this closing ceremony. I wish also I wish you all the best to you and your families. Please take care. The virus is around still, so be as much as possible at home if you can. And before you leave, I mean, while you're leaving the room and chatting here a little bit, I would like to play the rest of the video that we have for today, so we can listen a little bit of more of Brazilian music and saying goodbye in the chat, and that's it. Hope to see you next meeting in Estonia. Beijo grande para todos.